Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Suzerain, a new choose-your-own-adventure text-based role-playing game that puts you in the shoes of a president in the 1950s of sort of an important border country, but not a superpower. We're a bit of a developing country. I wouldn't say we're impoverished per se. We've had some success. We definitely are a strategic player. We have importance. We have key economic centers, but we're also not a superpower. And so that's the situation that we're dealing with. We are the president. We are in a country that has sort of a history of, a little bit of a history of democracy, but with sort of underpinnings of dictatorship. And we've been trying to reform the Constitution and make things a little bit more pro-democratic. We've also been reforming the economy to move more toward an open market, free market economy. And we've been aligning ourselves with the West and joining the ATO, which is the game's version of NATO. In our last episode, we went to the United Nations. We heard a lot of different speeches from a lot of different leaders, and we, made an important one of our own and sort of dealt with what the game was sort of portraying as its own version of the Cuban Missile Crisis, but then, also a half dozen other things all at once. It was a little bit much, but it was interesting to see. In today's episode, we're going to be wrapping this series up. We'll see if we're able to withstand Leal's Graf challenge to our own re-election bid within our own party. So we have a former cabinet minister who's running against us in our own party. It's a parliamentary country. Then we'll get to see if we survive that. We'll get to see if sort of the global United Nations summit results in a world war, which is possible, I've heard. And then, depending on how that goes, then the game would decide whether we win re-election or not, and how would the future of our reign go. How does our family unfold? How is our wife's aspiring political career going to unfold? A lot of interesting things could occur as we wrap this game up and we finish this series up. So I hope you guys will stay tuned and watch and sort of catch down and leave your thoughts down below. And this was taken from a live stream from my Twitch channel from a couple of weeks ago, so let me know your thoughts. I'm going to go ahead and step aside. We'll jump right back into the live stream, and I hope you guys enjoy the show. Okay, so we're going to have a Congress meeting. United Sordland Party Congress. Okay. It's another big day, folks. It was the day of the United Sordland Party Congress. For the third time in the party, in Sordland's history, a candidate was challenging an incumbent president. Surge was driving me to the Grand National Assembly for the historic event. I looked out of the window as we passed through the small forest dividing the Maroon Palace and the Assembly. I thought about the day I announced my candidacy against Ewald Alfonso when he was still president. Then I remembered how just a few years before that, Ewald had challenged Tarquin Sol. How are you feeling back there, sir? I'm worried about today. I'm sure you're going to win again, sir. No need for undue stress. Surge made a left turn out the forest and entered the vast garden area of the Assembly. I still don't believe how Miss Graf could run against you. She owed her position to you. Some people have no respect or gratitude, Surge. Indeed, sir, it makes me sad to see such a respectable woman like Miss Graf act in such a way. He parked the car in front of the gate that led to the USP wing of the Assembly. Good luck, Mr. President. We'll see you on the way back. Thank you, Surge. I entered the building and joined the crowd of influential politicians, lobbyists, and benefactors who had gathered for this turning point. It was almost time for the debate. The crowd dispersed and the members of the USP went inside the Congress Hall. United Sordland banners hung from every possible spot. I tried to mentally prepare for my speech, but the lingering memories from the first two leadership races was making it hard for me to focus. Suddenly, Peter approached me from behind and put his hand on my shoulder. Come on, let's get this vote over with. I can't shake the thought of losing today. How are you feeling about the vote? Well, a lot of members were thrown off by Leal's sudden campaign, not to mention that she's, a woman. But she does seem to have a lot of conservatives on her side. But come on. You're going to win in a landslide. Wish I could be that optimistic. As if on cue, Leal strode past me into the hall, accompanied by a large group of her supporters. Instead of her usual beige, she wore a sun-yellow skirt and blazer. I tried to ignore them as I entered the hall. Yeah, but I thought it said something ninja about sanctions against Rumberg. Peter and I took to our seats and waited for the session to begin. Look, it's starting. He pointed at the podium. Lucien was there. He was about to introduce the candidates. Ladies and gentlemen, we gather here today for the 28th Congress of the United Sordland Party, for the third leadership race in its history. On the occasion of my 20th year in this party, I'm honored to be opening this historic session today. The members of the USP will soon be voting on whether President Rayne or Leels Graf shall assume leadership going forward. Before we begin the selection process, I would like to invite both candidates to give a very short speeches. First, I would like to invite Anton Rayne, the fourth President of Sordland. I would prefer to go second. God damn it. Fellow members of the USP, together we have achieved a lot in the past 4 years. I took on responsibility to fix our Constitution. Yeah, Baldwin, but I also reformed the Constitution. 2 will piss off the hardliners. I took on the responsibility to fix our Constitution. I took office to bring reform to this country. And together we succeeded. But I believe if we stand together, nobody can stop us. Help me continue our fight to make this country great. This is not a time for division. Let us unite under this flag one more time. Do you want to give control of the party to a woman who ran away from her duties? Yeah, it didn't give me any economic options. I don't know why. The economy is like through the frickin' roof. It's either 2 or 3 here, right? Because 1 is not going to win anything. I didn't see an option, Neuhauser, for the economy. I missed it? Seriously? I didn't see the option for the economy. God damn it. Maybe I can load. I think I can load a last checkpoint, so maybe that'll not take me back too far. Maybe I can let's load the last checkpoint then before we get through this, because I'm worried it'll overwrite the previous save if I get to the end of this. Because I didn't realize I missed that. I'm not sure how far back the checkpoint is, though. I don't remember the last time it's saved. Chapter 1. No, it's right back at the start of the party congress. Okay, that's good. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. I'm good. How are you? Some people have no respect or gratitude. Thank you, Serge. How you feeling about the vote? Wish it could be that optimistic. Okay. Fellow members of the USP, that's what I want to stick with. Together we've achieved a lot in the past 4 years. I took office to bring reform to this country. And together we succeeded. I believe if we stand together, nobody can stop us. Help me continue our fight to make this country great. Oh, here it is. I managed to bring the recession under control. Oh, so I chose, like, this is not the time for division. So I managed to bring the recession under control. That was kind of lame. That's all I got. Just that. Let's unite under this flag one more time. Give me your support and let's bring this country together. Newhouser, now you want me to rip her down? It's too late. I know you'll do the right thing. Long live United Sordland. Amorgana Vescor. Vote Quimby. Oh, God, she's just playing it all up. You want a president who will stand bravely against the wealthy elites in their mansions? Yeah, she's going to play up the scandal against me. Family values. Family values and no corruption. That's what she's standing for. I tore my wife away from her own rightful place. MSGA. Okay, blah, 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 blah. You think I suck. Woo! Eat shit, Graf. The winner of the vote is Anton Rayne, because apparently throwing fire does not work. Yeah. You say I'm against corrupt. You say I'm corrupt. You say I'm against family values. Whatever. I congratulate our now and future president. He will remain our leader and represent us in the next election. Take that, Graf. Thank you, Peter. Now that that's settled, we can plan our next term together. buy Venezuelan vote counting machines? Yep. I guess. Why didn't it give me, it should have given me Leal's reaction. Or given me a chance to, like, talk her down or something. I don't know. Landslide win for Rayne at USP Congress. At the USP Congress, or Party Congress, our incumbent president easily brushed off a challenge from power-mad spinster Leal's Graf, winning members' confidence once more. Graf's resignation and subsequent challenge was the last and largest obstacle to a second presidential term for President Rayne. With her out of the way, re-election seems inevitable. Graf's power grab fails. Don't get us on board, or don't get us wrong, we're all on board with Sordland's electing its first female president, but today we're breathing a sigh of relief that the president will not be Leal's Graf, as the ex-interior minister failed to garner enough votes at the USP Party Congress to usurp leadership from Anton Rayne. We've seen enough signs that, given enough power, Graf would set Sordland back dozens, if not hundreds of years. Rayne's presidency is problematic in its own right, but for now, it's far better than the alternative. Okay, so what's up next? I think we have dinner at the residence, right? Dinner at home. With the election looming, I'd practically been sleeping at the Maroon Palace lately, but tonight I made a deliberate effort to get home early. Frank was coming to dinner for the first time in months. Of the Goat, thank you for the follow. Oh, you were Scantron, the immortal. Oh, okay. I told everyone I wanted a family supper, just like the old days. Monica had promised to cook something special. I didn't know if it was my imagination, but there seemed to be more guards outside my complex than usual. I hurried past them, went inside, and locked the front door behind me. I've heard footsteps coming my way. Hi, Papa. Hugger. How was school today? Deanna shrugged. I won a prize at the science fair. Honestly, I think they were teaching girls different stuff before because they knew we were smarter than boys. You might be right. Deanna smiled and pointed to the kitchen. Mama's in there. I've got to do some homework before dinner. I followed her with my eyes and she went upstairs. She was starting to look more and more like her mother. I stepped into the kitchen. Monica was stirring a pot on the stove, her back turned to me. Hug her from behind. I snuck up behind Monica and gave her a hug. She seemed to drop her ladle. She screamed and dropped her ladle. Ha! Sorry, Anton. I guess I've been on edge lately. Why don't you go fix yourself a drink in the living room? I'll let you know when dinner's ready. I sat down in the living room, poured myself a bit of whiskey, and flipped through one of Monica's women's magazines. It took me a second to realize Monica herself was on the cover. The headline, Sordland's Woman of the Year. Suddenly, Frank burst through the door. Sorry I'm late. I'm with Shiana. We were, studying. Of course. I wouldn't say everything but the economy's a disaster, Super Chacho. I hope you two are being careful. What a dad answer. Don't worry. Don't you worry. I've seen what fatherhood does to a man. Oh, my God. Frank smirked, and he looked like he was about to say something else, but then Deanna came down the stairs. Frank. Hey, Pipsqueak. The two of them ignored me for a moment and started chatting away about their school. Monica appeared in the doorway and smiled warmly at the sight of the three of us. Dinner's ready. The three of us gathered around the dining room table. Monica ladled out bowls full of zabala. The stew tasted as good as it smelled. Now that we're all here, I wanted to say something. I know the past 4 years have been hard on all of us. I was so busy focusing on the needs of the Swordish people that I sometimes forgot about Sordland's most important people, my own wife and children. I hope someday we'll be able to put this behind us and be a normal family again. I hope I can make it up to you someday. And we'll have plenty of time for that, because I'm retiring from politics at the end of this term. What? Then why was I giving a speech against Leal's Graf? Once the election's over, I'm taking you all on holiday? I probably won't have time to do that. So this is the only real option. As long as we don't go anywhere lame. Lady's choice. Okay. I was hoping I was getting to meet his girlfriend. Okay. So we've got to be close to the end now. I don't have any other options. I guess we'll continue. Unless there's another chapter, but the 4th chapter has been going on a long time. Oh, sometime later. Sometime later when? Next week? A month from now? 2 months from now? 20 months from now? Well, the economy is still good. Okay. What are our choices here? The election speech. So I have to give an election speech. My term was almost over. I paced back and forth behind the stage, gathering my strength. This was the last major event before the election. A massive crowd awaited me. It was the biggest gathering of people we'd managed to assemble during my campaign, and if my advisors were right, it was also the largest ever assembled in Seoul Square. Bordered by Holsword State University, Holsword Arch Sanctuary, the Library of Sordland, and the historic City Hall, the square could accumulate nearly 1 million people, and tonight it was packed. The noise of the crowd rose up around me on all sides. Would I ever address so many people again? Suddenly the music began. It was Vectern Sisda, a famous song by the composer of Swordish national anthem, Victory is Close. Then Peter announced my name and invited me to the stage. It was finally time. My dark gray... I like how that, scandal about the news just sort of faded away into nothingness. My dark gray suit and maroon tie, I walked up... Also, I wish there were, actual campaign speeches against my opposition. I thought the internal power struggle was interesting, but, there hasn't been any real campaigning. It kind of feels like the last, 10 decisions or so feel a little bit rushed. I saw a sea of USP flags and banners before me. It was as if people had painted the square maroon. I took a good look at my electorate. Brothers and sisters, I welcome all who have come here once again to support a new beginning. I once again am asking for your financial support. Do a little bit of Bernie Sanders there. I must thank everyone who came here to support me during such a critical time for Sordland. Today, the future belongs to the people. The future belongs to Sordland. I welcome you all. I welcome all who have come here once again to support a new beginning and stable progress toward a brighter future. I want to thank my friend and partner of the last 4 years and more, Sordland's happy fighter, Peter Vectern. I've relied on Peter Vectern's strong judgment in these difficult days. I'm fortunate. I'm grateful to walk this path in life with the amazing Monica Rayne. Remember, my party's conservative, so I don't know if I want to celebrate her work leading the campaign to expand rights of Swordish women. Or do I? I don't know. I guess we'll go with 2. That's true. Who else do the conservatives back? And my greatest thanks goes out to all of you who came here today. You are the backbone of this campaign. Your noise is shaking the whole country. "4 years ago, you and I began a journey together. We came together to bring prosperity to this glorious nation. With the power you entrusted upon me, my administration fought to serve your interest alone. Our government showed this nation steady, consistent, and principled leadership with a clear and positive plan. When I look back, I see achievements that will never be forgotten. We wrote history when we celebrated our changes to our outdated Constitution of 1929. Economic instability and depression plagued our country, but together we overcame them. We managed to fix the recession and put it behind us. Now we can safely begin building our country back up again by securing valuable international deals. We fought for foreign investments. We compared one of the biggest infrastructure projects in Sordland's history. Which one of these is the right one? I would say we managed... because the economy is great. So which one of these highlights, like 3 and 4 are more constructive, they're more solid, like real examples, but they're more nuanced, they're more narrowly focused, whereas 1 and 2 speak more to the actual success. I would say 2 because it also talks about moving forward into the future. As I promised 4 years ago, I made education the focus of my administration and greatly expanded our services to the Sordish people. We built new rural schools and increased access to education. We provided the Sordish people with higher quality and more accessible education. Every one of my decisions was made to serve all Sordish citizens regardless of their ethnic background, religion, or personal wealth. My term saw a great expansion of women's rights. Sordish women now finally have a voice. This is not a conservative speech. I worked hard to expand the rights of our minorities. I formed a commission for Blutish rights and gave amnesty to all During my term, the minorities of Sordland saw a great expansion of their political and social freedoms like they've never seen before. Today, Sordish citizens enjoy lower retirement ages by 5, no less. Today, every Sordish citizen is entitled to medicine for free. We integrated Sordland into the international arena. Now Sordland is a member of the ATO. I'll say, as a new member of the ATO, we will be walking toward the future with more confident steps together with our allies. We've made great progress, we are making progress, but there's still a lot more to do. Now is the task to build a more hopeful Sordland, a Sordland that is confident in its ability to reach for the heavens. These changing times are full of excitement and opportunity, and here you face a choice. We've made great progress, we are making progress, and there is still a lot more to do. Our opponents' policies are dramatically different than ours. They oppose the stability we're trying to bring Sordland. That is why I need your help. Let's build a bold, prosperous, and forward-looking Sordland, a united Sordland. I wonder if every correct answer gives me a crowd cheer or something, which means I didn't do great in the beginning, but I'm doing much better now. After all these years, we have come too far to abandon the dream we fought for. We must keep moving forward, moving to the future we imagined in 1953. I promise you we will remind everyone that the Republic of Sordland is the greatest nation in the world. One all play to their patriotism, I think. Oh, crap. What is it? Morning will come or morning has come. I can't remember. Does anybody remember? 4? Are you just saying that to say, like, we've arrived? Or are you saying that because... I don't want to, like, screw it up, though. Amorga Herkoren. Make a victory sign? Well, that seemed to go reasonably well. I didn't get shot or anything. Nothing happened like that. What happened to the pocket watch that was going to stop the bullet or anything? On election day, millions went out to cast their votes, setting turnout records in Sordland. For the second time, your moment of truth had arrived. I wish there was more campaigning to it. The United Sordland Party came out as the winner again, securing your second term as president. The people had spoken again. The National Front was now the second biggest party in the assembly, leaving the PFJP to be third. The die had been recast. In a historic moment, the Communist Party of Sordland managed to enter the assembly for the first time, surpassing the 8% threshold. The Blutish votes divided between the Workers' Party of Blutia and the Blutish Freedom Party resulted in both of them finishing below the threshold, failing to be represented again. You congratulated all parties that participated in the elections. Because the new constitution was easier to amend now, most of the opposition came forth with demands to pursue further constitutional reforms ahead of your inauguration. Many citizens were also starting to sympathize with them. In response, you censored them from press? Oh yeah, let's lead a dictatorship, right? But I don't want to necessarily amend the constitution further. I feel like we've made a good, whatever. We'll go along with it. Your second term was about to begin. You stood on the podium overlooking the famous Hill of Pride once again. It was a particularly cold day. When you looked at the thousands of people with hopeful eyes, your shoulders grew heavy and you shivered. You held Monica's hand. Sniper! You dreamed about the future. You saw a wealthier Sordland. The country saw massive economic development over your next term. The remnants of the Sol era were long gone. Businesses became more profitable, and the markets were freed of regulation. As the market became freer, the people of Sordland also became free. As the economic boom continued, the most critical problems vanished one by one. Sordland was finally letting go of its past. You worked hard to establish neoliberal Arcasian capitalism. You did everything you could to expand freedoms. You had worked hard to reach the potential of the Swordish dream. With a sense of duty to your nation, you worked hard, sacrificing all of your time, your sleep, even your soul. Thanks to your efforts, Sordland became stronger and a better place to live for its citizens, and you heard them cheer your name. You smiled. You knew you deserved to be praised more than anyone for the success. You knew there was more you could be doing. More power, Super Chacho. Monica was gaining traction in the capital as one of the fiercest women's rights activists, rallying thousands of Swordish women to fight for change. Your support buoyed Monica to new heights. With her activism in your administration, Swordish women made strides toward true parity. Deanna became a strong and successful young woman. Frank was a family man already. You were proud of them. Years passed. And then you were killed. No more obstacles to the Swordish dream were left. Now the morning had truly come. The morning brought a united and happy Sordland, an independent and formidable Sordland. You knew it was possible. But the real morning was still on the horizon. A fierce gust of wind shook you out of your daydream. Monica squeezed your hand. Years had not passed. You were still on the podium, waiting to be sworn in. Chief Justice Hawker stood next to you and said, "Please repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will respectfully execute the office of the President of Sordland." Yeah, Lieutenant Mike, I would guess that was probably about the happiest ending you could have. I believe your wife can divorce you, so that didn't happen. My son was obviously a success. The economy was booming. Freedom is ringing. We're not a puppet. We definitely stood on our own despite being a member of the ATO. So I think that was about the best outcome that you probably can have. I'm not sure. The developer was actually in here yesterday when we were streaming and said there are 9 outcomes possible with 20 variances within those 9 outcomes. So presumably there's a lot of different things that can happen. I thought I saw someone say that like nuclear war is actually possible. So, there could potentially be some really bad outcomes. But overall, it seemed like we avoided war. We joined the ATO. Maybe the only better option would be is if we didn't join the ATO, but were able to prevent a war. Maybe that would have been a slightly better route. I'm also curious, like, what happened if we hadn't supported my wife's, women's rights crusade. I wonder what the outcome with that would be. Like, is that what leads to divorce? Are there options for, like, affairs or other things like that? Like, we kind of played straight-laced the whole way through. But I think that's probably the best option. So I think we did a good job. We really were politically astute. We had good speeches. We worked with the conservatives, and we didn't go overboard on reforms, but we did implement some meaningful reforms. Overall, I think it was a really good playthrough. I enjoyed the hell out of this game. This was a lot of fun. I will probably play another playthrough, but probably not on stream. There's some other things I want to cover on stream first. But let me know what you guys want to see. So with that being said, that's going to do it for this series. Hope you guys enjoyed the series. And Suzerain, check it out on Steam if you're interested. But until next time, this is the Historical Gamer, as always, saying thank you very much for watching. And until next time, I'm out. Bye-bye.